So I've been wanting to do this video, but I've had a couple other things come up. So I haven't gotten to it. So, like I said, when I went out today, this lady's like, you are beautiful. And she's like, oh my goodness, you don't look like you're old enough to have, 5 sons. She's like, you are beautiful. So I want to share something, okay? I tend to be natural. I don't do a lot. I have no plastic surgery or nothing. This is the real deal here. But I don't it has always been hard for me to feel like I'm beautiful. I do now, but it used to be hard for me because I think because I had such a critical mom, honestly, I really did. And even though my grandmother would be like, when I was a little girl, oh my goodness, she's so cute, she's so sweet, she's so pretty. My grandmother loved the way I looked, and she would be like, this is my first granddaughter, and she would boast about me everywhere, right? So, when you are dealing with this, it's important to be humble anyway. So, but I want to say something because this falls into this. This is why I'm talking about this, not to toot my own horn or anything, because I feel like, yeah, I'm average, okay? But when someone says that to you, it does feel good. But sometimes, not always, not in every situation. So I was just reading about Hefner's wife and watching videos about her and her talking about how bad it was at the Playboy Mansion. Very bad. And a lot of people are talking about this and saying, oh yeah, she's just making this stuff up because she doesn't have money and she needs money and she's making a book about it. I don't really know her, so I don't know her motive. It really is possible that this is happening because of that. But the truth be said, the guy was a pervert. The guy was a major narcissist who only focused on his own fantasies and used women as objects. And growing up where my husband had this garbage, and then one day I had helped my mom with folding some clothes, and I pulled out my father's drawer to put socks away or something, and there sat this thing, and I'm like, what is this, right? Because I didn't know. And she's like, oh, that's just your father's, that's just your father's. And my mom was embarrassed, and she was kind of like, she just took it away from my eyes, and she's like, that's just his stuff. So later on she would be like, I told her about my husband who had a problem with this, and she's like, oh, all men do it. All men, it's no big deal, it's fine, don't worry about it. It's, that's fine that he's doing this, right? So I felt like, okay, I guess it's acceptable in a marriage, right? So how does this affect women? And I want to talk about this today because I was talking to I came to a place where like other women are dealing with this a lot, and this woman was talking about this with her husband, and she said it changed her husband and it ruined him, and it does. It ruins men. But on the other side, like when my husband was doing this, I was like, oh my goodness, at first it didn't bother me at all. I thought it was normal and it didn't bother me. And then it did. It did, because it was his addiction and it bothered me. And it was like, what is wrong with me, right? What am I not big enough? Am I not pretty enough? Am I not, you examine yourself as a woman. You're like, are my legs like not long enough? Am I not, what is it that I'm not enough? And I think this is damaging too when you come from a mother, who's very rejecting of you, feeling like you're not enough. And so I think with these two things too, there is a pull for women. There is a pull for women to get into this stuff. And we see it even more in this day and age. And what ends up happening, I think for me too, is there is a sense of needing to feel validated. Okay, so today when this lady's like, oh my goodness, you're beautiful, right when I walked in, I don't have to feel validated from that. Before, I would have felt more validated. And, thinking about it now as I'm doing this video, it's kind of like, yeah, and I don't have to take my clothes off to get these kind of compliments. There's many women who are doing this nowadays, and I have someone in my family who likes to take her clothes off quite a bit to show off and feel like this is the way she expresses herself, I guess, or feels like this is the way she handles life. So we do not want to lead women into this kind of thing, right? And her mother doesn't seem to have a problem with it. This is my sister-in-law, former sister-in-law, who is okay with her daughter going on magazines, showing off her body to the world. And as a mother, that's not what you do to your daughter, right? It's not. So that's not what real beauty is. And so I was watching these other women, like I think it's Holly Madison, some other women who have been in these circles with Playboy, and Hefner's wife is like, it's just disgusting. She said like the first night I think it was like the first night he paid her to be with a couple other women, and then he would just, they said it was just a job, check in, sit on him for a couple minutes, and then you're done. And that was their job. And she said it destroyed her soul. That's what it did. And I believe it to be very true. Because when you are in immorality, it does destroy the soul. It's not something... Oops, someone's talking. Yeah. It's not something like somebody can just turn it off and turn it on like that. That is a lie. So we're seeing a lot of women go down these paths. They're just giving up their dignity. They're giving up their anything they would have in order to validate themselves. So, I was thinking afterwards, I was like, seeing these women who got out of it and they're happier now. I'm like, God, thank you so much. I never went down this path. Thank you so much that you protected me. So it is more better to not do it. It's better to not be in that lifestyle and get used. And I know when I was growing up as a teenager, I got used a lot just because I was pretty. So I was just like, thank goodness that I never ended up down that path, because it is very destructive. And I don't think any girl deserves to be treated like that. So in Hefner's opinion, and I will read her book, she is just saying this was such a awful experience in her life. And whether she's doing this just to get money or not, I do believe there is the truth there, that Hefner used so many women for his own advantages. I think there's Mormons out here. I think I saw them. Yeah, people are trying to witness out here, Mormons. That's another thing you want to stay away from, cult. But it is not the glamour that you see with models showing off. It's not that kind of lifestyle. So don't fall into that.